All right. It's already 8:06, and I'm not sure if anyone else is coming to this class. I called you guys in on a Monday. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start. Although we finished, no, last week, the class that we would have to replace was speaking for the fourth task. So we're gonna do that today. It's always good to practice speaking a little. This creo que the thing that no, it's best to polish, ¿no? Si vas a trabajar alguna de las tareas de TOEFL, I would go with speaking. So we're gonna go with that today. Como repaso, last time we saw it, the fourth task, the fourth speaking task consists of just an audio. You have to listen to a lecture, like an academic lecture, like you would in any class at university, and just give a summary. And same as last time, you have 30 seconds to prepare your answer and 60 seconds to speak. So lo mismo que siempre. Before we go ahead and start the practice, Cayetano, aprovechando that you're the only one here. So you have like all the time you want to ask questions and claro, o sea, todo el tiempo to clear any doubts, ask for any advice you may want for the TOEFL. So antes de practicar, ¿alguna duda, comentario, pregunta, anything?
Let me check because here in my computer I have my notes.
Oh, good. So you keep like all your notes. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I think the best task that we can practice about speaking because it's hard for me. Maybe the hardest for me is academic, the question 3.
All right.
The task 3.
Okay, the third task then, the one that's both text and yeah, pero es que no alcanzamos a ver el cuarto. I think we didn't see it, right? I think we didn't, if I'm not mistaken. Or we started to see it or something like that. But the fourth task is also an academic lecture. So it's also an academic topic, but it's just the audio. So you don't have to read anything. No sé si eso sea bueno o malo. En el otro al menos tienes un texto con que apoyarte, but this one is just a short lecture.
Okay.
What?
I need.
Dale.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Okay, so what you have most trouble with is the academic part, or the more academic lectures. Is it more in understanding the information? Is it more in organizing your ideas? ¿Qué parte de todo es lo que más te cuesta?
It's about the listening because sometimes depends the topic. It's hard or not only that because I don't know a lot of history, literary. It's hard for me.
History and literature and sociology and those then. All right. Yeah. See, good thing though, like in science and in like very academic terms, they tend to be como que con base en Latin or Griego, so they all sound very similar. They all have similar raíces, so they sound like in Spanish as well. All right, so we're going to listen to one. Me avisas si lo escuchas bien, ¿ya? A ver, lo vamos a poner un rato y me dices.
You will listen to a lecture about an academic topic. After you
do? You hear it well?
Yep, I can hear.
Okay, so same thing as last time. This gives us 20 seconds to prepare the answer. We're going to cut it down to 20. Siempre les doy 30, but we're going to do the 20 seconds. And eso. So, lo mismo que siempre. Escuchas, apuntes, listen to keywords, as always. Listen to where he puts emphasis in his voice, porque eso también les da un indicador. Y eso. So, ready?
I'm ready.
You will get a question about what you heard. You will have 20 seconds to prepare your response and then 60 seconds to give it. Now listen to the lecture. The immune system is what our body uses to defend itself. It protects you against foreign microorganisms, as well as cells of your own body that go rogue and can become cancerous. There are two types of defenses that your body has. One of them are the non-specific defenses that protect you against a wide range of potential attacks. And we have the specific defenses, which are cells who work against a very particular cell or disease. We would
sorry, Cayetano. Aprovechando that Isabel came in, sorry. How are you, Isabel? Good evening. Vamos a escuchar todos, ¿no? Para aprovechar. Hi, Isabel.
Sorry, teacher, I'm Liliana. It's the phone.
Your mom's.
Yes.
Hi, Liliana. Hi, sorry. Okay, perfect. Again, sorry, Liliana, for making you guys come on a Monday. Pero sí, lo vamos a hacer. I was explaining to Cayetano, we're going to do the fourth task, the speaking, que no alcanzamos a hacerlo otra vez, which is the same as the other one, kind of. It's also making a summary of an academic topic, solo que solo el audio. No, you don't have a text, you don't have anything, it's just the listening. So, pero es igual un academic topic. So, vamos a escuchar eso. Si estás lista, if you have your a notepad or something to take notes, we can go ahead. You can tell me when you're ready. Me dices cuando estás lista to start. And same as last time, it's a 60-second answer. And this time we're only going to have 20 seconds to prepare it. Igual con cronómetro like the other times. Okay, so si ya tienes like un cuadernito o algo, un papel to take notes. ¿Sí?
Yes, teacher.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and listen to the lecture.
You will listen to a lecture about an academic topic. After, you will get a question about what you heard. You will have 20 seconds to prepare your response and then 60 seconds to give it. Now listen to the lecture. The immune system is what our body uses to defend itself. It protects you against foreign microorganisms, as well as cells of your own body that go rogue and can become cancerous. There are two types of defenses that your body has. One of them are the non-specific defenses that protect you against a wide range of potential attacks. And we have the specific defenses, which are cells who work against a very particular cell or disease. We would use your skin as the best example of a non-specific defense barrier. Basically, your skin is there to prevent any unwanted intruder from getting into your body. Your skin has many mechanisms that does this. Inflammation is one such mechanism. It floods the point of intrusion with fluids and chemicals to prevent further problems. Another barrier that prevents unwanted visitors can be found in the stomach. The digestive juices can melt away bacteria and viruses that got in there and prevent them from getting deeper into the body. But let's say these walls were not good enough to prevent the intruders from getting in. Then your body will rely on its specific defenses. Here, your T cells and B cells come into play. They are in your blood. B cells create antibodies that attach to a virus that has gotten inside. When the antibodies attach to the virus, this makes it harmless since it prevents it from attacking the cells of your body. T cells can be helper T cells and killer T cells. Helper T cells are alarms that activate the B cells into producing the antibodies, while the killer T cells kill your cells that are infected by the virus. The reason why we say that T and B cells are part of the specific defenses is because they are connected to a specific virus.
Okay, before we listen to the question, is there anything that wasn't clear? Any vocabulary, any part of the information?
In my case, I don't have clear the difference between B cells and T cells.
All right, so it's the definition, es la información de esa partecita del final.
Yeah, definition.
Not very clear. Okay, we're gonna go back and listen to this one more time, the little end part. All right.
For T cells and killer T cells is that attached to a virus that your body will rely on its specific defenses. Here, your T cells and B cells come into play. They are in your blood. B cells create antibodies that attach to a virus that has gotten inside. When the antibodies attach to the virus, this makes it harmless since it prevents it from attacking the cells of your body. T cells can be helper T cells and killer T cells. Helper T cells are alarms that activate the B cells into producing the antibodies, while the killer T cells kill your cells that are infected by the virus. The reason why we say that T and B cells are part of the specific defenses is because they are connected to a specific virus.
All right, is it clear now? Ahora está clara esa parte. All right, more or less. Okay. Liliana, any questions? You? Anything that's not clear?
No, teacher, all is clear.
All right, perfect. When this happens, like when there's some part that's not fully clear, like the whole second half, no, the whole difference between B cells and T cells. Anyway, it's a summary. Remember, guys, we have like 2 minutes or more of lecture, and we have to reduce all that into 60 seconds. So we have to leave a lot of information out. So toda esta partecita de the B cells and the T cells, you can find a way to condense it as much as possible if you're not really sure of the information. So I'm going to give you guys 20 seconds and starting now. Pensando su respuesta con sus apuntes. All right. Which one of you wants to share? Liliana, is it just you or is your brother with you today?
Today I'm alone.
Okay, so it's just you. Solo estamos los tres. Okay, so which one of you would like to go first?
I can go first.
Dale. Thank you, Cayetano. Okay, so your 60 seconds to speak start now.
The lecture was about immune system, that the first objective is defense the body. The professor explained two subtopics of defense. The first is non-specific and the second is specific defense. The non-specific is try to protect a potential virus, like inflammation or secretion that the body produces in order to prevent a deeper infection. And the specific defense has two types of cells, B cells and T cells, and the objective is connect a specific virus and kill it, because they try to involve the virus and kill it. I think.
All right. Yeah, the time's up. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
No.
No? Okay. So, a ver, I think this time, I have noticed that you've improved in your time management because I do feel other times se te queda un poco corto el tiempo. But now you fit everything, all the info was there. It was very well understood. I think the way you divided the information was very clear. No se notaba que estaba todo ahí. And yeah, overall, it was very well structured. Just a few little details. In this case, because we're talking about the immune system, solo tenemos un sistema inmunológico, so it's kind of like the immune system. In this case, we do use an article. So eso. And instead of subtopic, you mentioned that the lecture, gives 2 subtopics of the immune system. They could be, considered like topics that the professor is discussing, but it would be simpler and more precise to say types, different types of immune systems en este, bueno, diferentes tipos de funciones in this case. So that, and other than that, I think the time management, the intro was the time it needed to be. Both topics were developed in the time they needed to. And yeah, I think it was overall really good. Thank you, Cayetano.
Okay, thanks.
Liliana, ready
Okay.
to share yours? Dale. Okay, so your 1 minute starts now.
Okay, the immune system is when the body defends to virus or something like this and protect our bodies. This divided into parts, the non-specific and the specifics. The example that teacher gives to non-specific is the skin and stomach because it's something that helps your body with a lot of things. And the specific, the teacher says the D cells and B cells, these attack some specific virus. So for this, it is specific. The both help our body and to to defend the bad things.
All right, thank you. You have 5 seconds left. Y si ahorita se va a acabar, 3, 2, 1. There you go. All right. Thank you, Liliana. Again, also the structure was there. No introduction, point A, point B, cierre, listo. What I think though was missing, y por eso te ha sobrado un poco de tiempo, you could have added the definition. You gave the examples for both of them. No que estaban muy claras. The example of the skin, inflammation, your stomach juices, all of that as a non-specific defense. Sí. And then the other parts as a specific defense, the T cells, B cells, sí. But you didn't really mention what is a non-specific defense. That's something that you could have just said. A non-specific defense is something that protects you against anything that may hurt your body. And a specific defense protects you against a specific virus or bacteria or ta, 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 ta. Y solo dando la definición and then the examples, se te llenaba ese tiempito que faltaba. Everything else though, grammar, use of vocabulary, I think, was very good. The vocabulary too, guys. No olviden siempre buscar como que listas de vocabulario or else read a lot to get a hang of some more vocabulary. In another class, en otro curso, a friend asked, un estudiante preguntó qué podría usar para practicar, especially writing and speaking, because no hay diferentes tonos de lenguaje para todos. Sometimes some are a little bit more formal, some things are a little bit more heavy to read. Some things ya también son como que muy simples and wouldn't really prepare you for the level you need. I think the middle point is artículos de opinión de periódicos in English, obviously. So things like reading the New York Times or the Washington Post or the Boston Globe or all those newspapers, you can follow them on social media y ahí les aparecen todos sus artículos, ¿no? Y diferentes secciones del periódico, que esos son muy buenos, tienen buen manejo de inglés, así tienen más o menos el inglés que deberían manejar in tests like this. So to keep that in mind, guys, so you can look for more information if you want or to practice. So it's all right, we're gonna do one more. And since it's just it's the last class and it's just the three of us, we're just gonna do this one. Y ahí lo dejamos. All right. So again, have a paper ready, have something to take notes, and we're going to listen to the lecture.
Topic. After, you will get a question about what you heard. You will have 20 seconds to prepare your response and then 60 seconds to give it. Now listen to the lecture.
Today we are going to talk about the foot in the door technique. Now what this technique involves is making an initial smaller request before making a larger request. For example, let's say that you want your boss to give you a raise. That day you wouldn't come immediately with asking something big like that. You wouldn't say, please, I would like my salary to be higher. But maybe you will come on Monday and you will say, you know what, boss? I think that it would be really beneficial for me if you would acquire this new software. Now, it's not something too expensive. It's quite cheap, and it will allow me and my coworkers to do a better job, a faster job, while using less energy, while it being less difficult for us. Now, since this is something small, your boss will grant your request. And then you'll come tomorrow on Tuesday and you will ask for a raise. And your employer, your boss, will be more receptive to this request because he or she granted something smaller the day before. Another example of this is if you're running part of a charity organization. You might ask for smaller donations in the beginning, or for the person or for the other people participating in the charity to do something small in the beginning, some small action. And then with time, you would ask them to contribute more and more, or to do more and more. So you can see by starting with something smaller, you will be able to get something more, something bigger. Some researchers think that when you ask for smaller requests, you're kind of tying the giver, the donor, the person from whom you're asking a favor, that you're tying this person to you to be more benevolent to you in the future. Because if they did something good in the beginning, they will be more inclined to do something even more.
Okay, before we listen to the question, any questions, anything that wasn't clear?
Teacher, I can listen real the first part, so I don't know what is the topic.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and listen to it one more time. Okay, aprovechando that, you know, it's practice. So una vez más, we're gonna go ahead and
Now listen to the lecture.
Today we are going to talk about the foot in the door technique. Now what this technique involves is making an initial smaller request before making a larger request. For example, let's say that you want your boss to give you a raise. That day you wouldn't come immediately with asking something big like that. You wouldn't say, please, I would like my salary to be higher. But maybe you will come on Monday and you will say, you know what, boss? I think that it would be really beneficial for me if you would acquire this new software. Now, it's not something too expensive. It's quite cheap, and it will allow me and my coworkers to do a better job, a faster job, while using less energy, while it being less difficult for us. Now, since this is something small, your boss will grant your request. And then you'll come tomorrow on Tuesday and you will ask for a raise. And your employer, your boss, will be more receptive to this request because he or she granted something smaller the day before. Another example of this is if you're running part of a charity organization. You might ask for smaller donations in the beginning, or for the person or for the other people participating in the charity to do something small in the beginning, some small action. And then with time, you would ask them to contribute more and more, or to do more and more. So you can see by starting with something smaller, you will be able to get something more, something bigger. Some researchers think that when you ask for smaller requests, you're kind of tying the giver, the donor, the person from whom you're asking a favor, that you're tying this person to you to be more benevolent to you in the future. Because if they did something good in the beginning, they will be more inclined to do something even more.
All right. Now is it clear? The topic is called the foot in the door technique. So do you guys understand that? ¿Por qué se llama así? Esta técnica de like everything it explains. Kind of like, because when estás hablando con alguien y medio que te quiere cerrar la puerta en la cara, you stick your foot in the door to be like, no, pero espera, I have something else to tell you. Y así es como que la entrada, and everything he explains, right? But that's why it's called that, la técnica de el pie en la puerta. So, eso. I hope it's clear now, the whole first part. Y ahora sí la pregunta, which would be...
Using the points and examples from the lecture, explain the foot in the door technique.
So basically the same thing, just summarize it. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys 20 seconds. Starting now. All right. Liliana, would you like to share your answer?
Yes, teacher.
Dale. So I'm going to give you your 60 seconds. Starting now.
Okay, the foot in the door technique is about to request before too large, and the professor gives examples. The first example that the professor gives is when your boss need you to send something right now, you can do in Thursday or another day with more calm. And the other example that the professor gives is when you running with some pressure in you and you need to do something, it's necessary to give a pause to beginning well and breathe too, and for you can do it better in the future. It's necessary this.
All right. Y justo. All right. Thank you, Liliana. I can tell you've been practicing with the time because you can tell like when it's going to be 1 minute. But yeah, a ver, en cuanto a manejo de la estructura, the structure is there. But I think you missed some information from the lecture. No, because the examples weren't really that clear, or they weren't explained, or no daban la misma información that the lecture originally gave. The definition of what the technique is kind of is clear. It could have been better explained, but at the introduction, you mentioned it was kind of like asking first a little bit and then asking for more. I think that would be the best way to put it. If we wanted to define this in the introduction, we could just say, the lecture talks about the foot in the door technique, which is basically asking something small first and then later asking for something larger. Listo, introducido y definido. So eso, I think the ideas weren't that clear. Pero, all right, let's listen to Cayetano. You want to share your answer? Y a ver si vamos a aclarar esos puntitos.
Sure.
Dale. Okay, so your 1 minute starts now.
The topic is about foot the door. The technique that is you need to do a smaller request to avoid a larger request. The example that the professor said is about when you want increase your salary in your job, you can to avoid to go to the first meeting and say to your employer, I need more money, you can go with your employer, and the first day you give a small idea that is beneficial for one task and is cheaper, and the next day or even the next week you can talk about your salary. And the other, oh,
Yeah, your time is up. But what did you want to say? Finish your idea.
okay, the next one is about the charity that you try to help the people with the small actions, and the people start to more and more step by step, and only that.
All
That's
right.
all. That's my.
Thank you, Cayetano. Yes, you do that though. Sabes tus apuntes and you think the ideas while you're looking at them, which is ideally what we should do, you know, be able to process the idea con solo los apuntes. Pero a ver, the structure was there, the information was there. You fully understood everything. Ahí vamos a ver un poco mejor de qué trataba this lecture. The foot in the door technique is that it's making smaller requests and then eventually progressively asking for larger things or making bigger requests. So the examples he gives are when you're asking for a raise, you ask first for something for the company, something small, like, che, jefe, ¿será que podemos comprar tal cosita? And, you know, he's like, oh yeah, sure. Sí, bueno, genial. And then when you ask for that little thing, then you go and ask for the big thing the next day, like, hi, can I have a raise? So that's the technique. And then the other example he gives is the, what was the other example he gave? I'm sorry, I forgot. The second example, I'm sorry, was, let me check.
Charity to do something
The
small
charity.
in the beginning.
Okay, so same thing, right? If you run a charity, you're asking people for money. So a good way to start that or to build trust with people would be to ask primero un poco de dinero, like si tienes tu caridad, right? Y estás pidiendo dinero. Start with a little, and then when you have their trust, little by little, ask for more. So eso is more or less what it was about. Kind of like a marketing technique, o algo así, or like a strategy for life, right? Something you can use for any circumstance. Pero eso, en cuanto a your answer, Cayetano, just a small observation. The word do, when you said do a small request, it would be better to say it make a small request. That's the diferencia entre el hacer make y el hacer do. But in this case, it would be make a small request and then make a larger request or whatever. And all the information was clear, todo lo que acabamos de repasar, but they needed to be a little more concise para que no se te vaya el tiempo, right? You explained the first one very well, but a little bit of the information was redundant, ¿no? Como que algunas ideas las repetías, ya las habías mencionado. So all of that te ahorrabas tiempo if you just made it a little more concise. Y te entraba para el segundo ejemplo, perfect. But other than that, sí, good answer. And we're gonna leave it there for the practice. But since there's still like a good amount of time, and since there aren't many of us today, in this time that's left, you guys can ask questions en general sobre not just speaking, any part of the course that you thought was difficult, or you've, o sea, cualquier cosa que quieran preguntar ahora about the course, feel free, guys.
Teacher, sorry, I have a question apart of this. The other day I was practicing and in the task 4, in the speaking, the question says, give your opinion. Do students talk and after brief summary and give your opinion? How can I do this?
All right, for this task, because the fourth task is usually just a summary, it doesn't usually include your opinion. Tal vez era otro task de speaking, pero sí, hay unas que te piden tu opinión. Well, again, as always, the key is picking up keywords, casi como si estuvieras armando tu arsenal para la guerra. Okay, so you listen to the audio, and you take this word, this word, this word, this word is important. Okay, so I know these words are important. I can build my answer with this. Ya sea que te está pidiendo un resumen, ya sea que te está pidiendo tu opinión, ya sea que te está pidiendo cualquier cosa, con estas palabras voy a armar todo. So it's kind of like that. It's kind of figuring out the most important concepts and trabajar con eso.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
All right, anything else? Any advice you want to ask? Aprovechando que es el último.
Second question is about the reading section.
Mhm.
Where I can find lectures about topics like literature, academics, because it's hard for me
Okay,
to get this type of vocabulary because I never work with this.
A ver, specifically for literature, like I said before, I would recommend you guys read artículos de opinión in general from newspapers. But about like literature, history, algo de ese nivel no se me ocurre. There is like Scholar Google, no debes ubicar Google Académico para anything else. Sirve para buscar cualquier artículo bueno. But that language is a little bit more heavy. Ya es como que muy pesado ese lenguaje. It's really, really dense and hard to read and so I don't think that's a good reference. I'm gonna think it through and I'll send you the answer like to your, I'll send via WhatsApp te mando algunas cositas que encuentre. Because that is my area. So I like literature, history, sociology. I know more about that stuff. So if I can find anything that can help you, I'll send it directly to your WhatsApp.
Okay, thanks.
Dale, Cayetano. And eso. Any other thing, guys? Eso es todo. All right, si eso es todo, les voy a mandar la encuesta. Son 6 preguntas porque es la última encuesta. Y bueno, ya saben, la llenan y ya pueden salirse. So thanks you guys for coming to this class. And it was great seeing you all throughout this course. Now for listening to you guys participate, getting to know you guys. It was really nice. So yeah, so guys, it was nice teaching you. Yes.
Thank you, teacher. Bye. Bye.
Okay, teacher. Bye. Bye, Lilian.
Bye, Liliana. And good luck on the test when you eventually take the TOEFL.
Okay, thanks.
Bye, guys.